Most nonprofits don't fail because they lack passion. Most nonprofits fail because the executive director or the founder is never taught how to manage the financial side. So if you're feeling pressure from your board or your funders or the auditors, then this video is going to save you months of headaches. Grab a snack and take a deep breath. Have no fear because your CFO friend is here. And it's telling you a story, so if you don't like the way the story is going, then you can fix the story. I am Professor B. Nance, a fractional CFO. I help organizations strengthen their financials, pass audits with confidence, and build budgets that their board will actually approve. After fixing the financials for dozens of nonprofits, I have seen the same 5 red flags pop up over and over again. And unfortunately, a lot of times the ED doesn't even know that it's happening. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to show you 5 flags that are derailing nonprofits and exactly what to do to fix it. Red flag number 1, there's no real-time cash flow forecast or projection. This is crucial for nonprofits because you could be doing very well and you still not be able to make payroll, but you need to know that in advance. So the part of the reason that we do projections and forecasts is because if there is a month where you're running short on cash, you can plan ahead of time. For example, I used to work for a nonprofit organization that was very cyclical. We spent a lot of money in the summer. And so these forecasts were crucial because it allowed us to project when we may or may not run out of money. And so that we could plan accordingly. We could make sure that we were billing ahead of time and taking care of things like that. The other thing you need to know is how much runway do you have? Do you have 3 months of cash on hand? Do you have 2 months? Do you have 6 months? You need to know how much cash you have in relations to how much money you're spending on a monthly basis so that you can plan better. I build these dashboards weekly for my clients because it helps them to be able to see what they need to see into the future to make the best decisions for the present. Red flag number 2 is mixing restricted funds with unrestricted funds. So as you know, a nonprofit sometimes will receive money that is restricted for time or purpose. So it could be money comes in and it's for a specific project. Well, you can't consider that like free and clear money. It's like you're saving for a vacation. That money for your vacation is for your vacation, except that it's in a nonprofit situation, it's way more strict. There's a lot of rules and guidelines that go into that. And so if you want to avoid issues with your auditors or questions at the end of the year, questions from your board, then you want to make sure that this is set up correctly on the front end. That's one of the things that I always encourage my clients to do, is to make sure that you have a system in place to be able to capture and tag the restricted funds to keep them separate from unrestricted funds. Now, restricted versus unrestricted is a little different from what you see in your bank account. And so that's something that you would want to talk to your accountant about because it does get a little bit confusing when you think of it that way. But the most important thing is that money sometimes comes in with a restricted purpose, and you have to make sure that you are paying attention to that. Red flag number 3, your board is only getting high-level spreadsheets. They're just getting summary data. They're not getting trends. They're not getting a deep dive into what's really going on within the organization, which is causing tension. And so one of the things that you have to remember as an ED and as a nonprofit leader is that your board is there to help you, but the only way that they can help you is if you give them what they need. And that means clear, easy to read, easy to understand financials, but that also means that you, the ED or whoever's in charge, needs to understand the financials so that when they ask questions, you feel prepared to answer those questions. That is something that I pride myself on very much, is making sure that EDs feel confident with their numbers, being able to read their financial statements and being able to address questions as they arise. Red flag number 4 is your grant reporting not matching the general ledger. So anytime you receive a grant, sometimes it can be an unrestricted grant, which means you can use it for whatever you want to. But other times it can be restricted or a reimbursement type grant, which means that the grantor is going to request some type of documentation, some type of reporting from you in the future in exchange for giving you this money. The best way to be able to set that up is to set it up in advance. And so, these are 2 different languages. A lot of times you have the grant side of things and then the finance side of things, but those 2 systems need to talk to each other so that your finance team or your finance person understands what the grant is to be used for, what's allowed on the grant, and all of the details that go into that. But then they can also track the expenses in a very specific way. So when it comes time to actually have to provide a report, it's already prepared in the general ledger. It's all together and it's just kind of packaged in a really pretty package that you can quickly hand over to your grantor. And red flag number 5 is that you're not doing an annual, monthly, quarterly financial health check. One of the things that's very important for a nonprofit is that you're constantly keeping up with your financial story. And so depending on your size, it could be a quarterly checkup, it could be an annual checkup. I usually encourage people to look at this on a monthly basis. So every month you're looking at your financial statements, you're seeing what you did in each month, and it's telling you a story. So if you don't like the way the story is going, then you can fix the story before it gets too far and things are just completely out of control. If these red flags sound familiar, don't worry, you are not alone. Many nonprofits experience this because their systems that were put in place when they first started do not do well with handling the growth that they experience, which that's our goal, is to grow. But that's also where a fractional CFO comes into the picture. So a fractional CFO is exactly what it sounds like. It's a fraction of a CFO. A lot of times nonprofits are not at the point where they can hire a full-time finance person, but they still do need someone to bounce ideas off of and have conversations. That's why you hire a fractional CFO. And that relationship can look different, and it really can be something that revolves around you and your needs. If you want clarity, confidence, and financial systems that make your life a lot easier, then check out my website, yourcfofriend.com. I offer an array of services, including fractional CFO services. And if you're newer to this accounting world and nonprofit finance, then it's okay. I'd also like to invite you to join my Financial Clarity Circle, which is a community of people just like you. So if you're not at the point where you can even afford to do a fractional CFO or any kind of services, then this circle is for you because it is developed for people who are leading this important mission work, but are not ready to hire someone to do their finances. My mission is simple: to help nonprofit leaders feel more confident in the financial side of their important mission work. You deserve to lead without constant financial anxiety, and I'm here to make that happen.